What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mel here for another classic review, and today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the first of four direct-to-home video films of Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, released on September 22nd of 1998. And this was the beginning of these four films because, if you recall, after Zombie Island came The Witch's Ghost, Alien Invaders, and finally Cyber Chase, but Zombie Island had a strong one in our hearts. Meaning? You'll see why. Before we begin, did you subscribe? Did you hit the bell? If so, are you trying to debunk the supernatural? If so, do it with caution because you might regret on what you find. So yeah, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island was based on the Hanna-Barbera Scooby-Doo Saturday morning cartoons, which said Scooby, Shaggy, Fred, Velma, and Daphne reunited after a year-long hiatus from Mystery Incorporated to investigate a bayou, an island in the middle of the bayou said to be haunted, mysterious disappearances. The film was directed by Jim Sternstrom and screenplay by Glenn Leopold. Due to the popularity of Scooby-Doo in the 90s, due to reruns on Cartoon Network, the channel's parent company, Time Warner, suggested a direct-to-home video on the film on the property. The team at Hanna-Barbera consists of many veteran artists and writers. Many of the original voice actors of the series were replaced for the film, except Frank Welker, who turned to voice as Fred Jones. It was also the first of four Scooby-Doo direct-to-home films to be animated overseas by Japanese animation studio Mook Animation. Rock band Third Eye Blind and Sky Cycle contributed to the soundtrack. Zombie Island contains a darker tone than most Scooby-Doo productions and is notably for containing real supernatural creatures rather than people in costumes. The film was released back in September 22nd, 1998, received acclaim from critics who complimented on its animation and story. The film is notable for being the first Scooby-Doo production featuring the entire game except Scrappy-Doo since the new Scooby-Doo Mysteries episode, A Halloween Hassle at Dracula's Castle, which premiered on ABC on October 27, 1984. If you recall the episode, this was the series where it mostly features Scooby, Shaggy, Daphne, and Scrappy. Most of in this series particularly. Yeah, I remember the episode. But that'll be another time for another time. The film was aided with a $50 million promotional campaign and sponsorship deals in multiple companies. The sales of the film on VHS were high. It became the first long-running series of direct-to-television video Scooby-Doo films. 2 decades later, in 2019, Warner Bros. Animation developed a sequel, Return to Zombie Island, which was released in a year as well. As for the productions, the Scooby-Doo franchise, which at the time the film's release was nearly 30-year mark, had entered a period of diminishing reruns in the early 90s. After conclusion of the 6th iteration of the series, a pup named Scooby-Doo, in 1991, Turner Broadcasting Systems purchased Hanna-Barbera, the animation studio behind Scooby-Doo, launching film programming at a new 24/7 cable channel centered at animated properties, Cartoon Network. Which, of course, the animated cable show gave the franchise renewed popularity rapidly. Scooby reruns attracted top ratings. Zombie Island was not the first attempt at a feature-length Scooby-Doo adventure. Several television films produced in the late 80s starring the character such as Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, Scooby-Doo Meets the Boo Brothers, and Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, which is the one when Shaggy turns to a werewolf that Dracula wants him in the race because the other werewolf retired and moved to Florida, which got pissed him off. And did you know Shaggy has a girlfriend in this one as well? Before Val being his girlfriend in Mr. Incorporated, you have this one named Cookie, I think. Oogie or Cookie, I don't know. What happened to her? But yeah, let's continue here. Davis Doyle, in charge of Hanna-Barbera, was tasked with developing projects based on the studio's existing property. Warner executives such as Scooby, given the property held a high IQ, proposed it could be direct-to-video feature film. The team assembled to work on the production with veterans of the animation business. Most recently worked on SWAT Cats, The Radical Squadron, and The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. Screenwriter Glenn Leopold had been with the franchise since 79 Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. The film was directed by Jim Sinstrom, who had worked on the Scooby Project beginning in 1983's The New Scooby and Scrappy-Doo Show, as the film was considered a one-off experiment by Studio Brass, which the crew worked with little oversight and complete creative freedom, which, of course, Doyle and Leopold developed the film's story. Leopold received sole credit for the screenplay. Much of the script is recycled from Leopold's script for an unfinished SWAT Cat episode, The Curse of Cataluna. Stenstrom and Doyle suggested in the earlier story meetings that the monster in the film would be real. Previous Scooby outings were nearly always bad guys in rubber masks. Failing, it worked for a half-hour television episode, but might grow tiresome over a feature-length film. Leopold disagreed, noting that throughout the franchise history, it was remained a simple, solvable mystery. Lance Falk, who worked as a model coordinator on the film, suggested they combine both ideas. As Casey Kasem, who was originally set to reprise his role Shaggy, but Kasem, a vegetarian, had refused to voice Shaggy in a 1995 Burger King commercial and went on to demand that Shaggy also give up eating meat in future productions. The creative team rejected this because Shaggy eats anything, and that's the hallmark of his character. Additionally, the production of Zombie Island had already begun, with the film featured a scene with Shaggy eating crawfish. Shaggy was recast with the voice of Billy West. Casa was given a last-minute opportunity to fill the role and redub over West, but he again refused. Radio personality Scott Ines voiced Scooby-Doo as Don Mystique. The character original voice actor retired in 1996 and passed away in 1997. Zombie Island was dedicated to his memory. Heather North was set to reprise her role as Daphne, but after a day of recording, Mary Kay Bergman replaced her, while B.J. Ward played Bella in a Johnny Bravo crossover episode, reprised her role for the film. Frank Welker is the only actor from the original series to reprise his role as Fred Jones. He initially worried that the producers would replace him as well, given that the producers believe his voice has gone down an octave. The team Peekaboo. Sorry. The voice director kept requesting Welker perform the voice a higher pitch. Welker insisted the voice was the same as Fred's voice is closer to his natural speaking voice. The team reviewed early Scooby-Doo episodes and found that Welker's impression was more or less the same. Bob Miller of Animation Network World Network suggests the reruns of Scooby-Doo aired on Cartoon Network perhaps give them a false idea of the character's voice, thus giving all the show's soundtrack a higher pitch. Japanese animation studio Mook Animation were contracted to work on the film. Doi had a relationship with the team at Mook as they had previously collaborated on SWAT Cats and Johnny Quest. Hiroshi Aoyama and Kazumi Fukushima directed the overseas animation, but are not credited on the picture. Shame. I see Rankin Bass credited the Japanese team behind this. And you guys don't? Shame. The film was animated and presented in 1.31 full frame format. The team were allowed more time to do work on the film, as was no real set schedule, just a delivery to home video department upon completion. The American crew redesigned the series cast for this film, giving them a fashion update. The team felt Fred and Daphne, with their ascots and Fred's bell bottoms, felt very dated to the 60s. Although the original designs were used in the opening scene, they briefly changed Shaggy's shirt color to red and gave him sneakers, so they quickly relented, as they viewed his original outfit as more timeless. If you remember, in the original 80s television films of Scooby-Doo, like Ghoul School, the Boo Brothers, and Runk the Werewolf, Shaggy wore a red shirt and sneakers in these three films. And also, I didn't notice, he also wore it in Scooby-Doo and the 13 Ghosts as well. I didn't even notice that. I forgot. Now you know. The group were trusted by studio management as they worked together for a long time on the film, had real passion for the project. Drew Gentle was the main background designer for the project, and Falk contributed to film's color key. Which, of course, in addition, the group enlisted the assistance of Aiwa Takamoto, the original designer of Scooby-Doo, still on salary with Hanna-Barbera, for advising on scenes. Takamoto called the film a good solid mystery and storyboard, several sequences of interplay between Shaggy and Scooby. The music was composed by Steven Branson, who is known for Tiny Toon Adventures, Jack, and Lost in Space film. Scored and conducted the film, the soundtrack for the film featured 3 songs composed specially for the film. The Ghost is Here, It's Terror Time Time Again, both written by Glenn Leopold, and were performed by Sky Cycle. The title track, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, was performed by Third Eye Blind. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, in the cast acting, there's a cameo appearance by none other than Joker himself, Mark Hamill, as Snakebit Scruggs. Who's the one who's trying to catch the damn catfish, Big Mona, and the airport manager who fired Shaggy and Scooby for eating all the confiscated food. Who knew? As the release plan, it was originally supposed to be a theatrical, but Warner Bros. Noticed the strong market for home video, particularly the successful of their direct-to-video animated series the Batman films. It was later decided to release it on VHS on September 22nd of 1998 through Warner Home Video. With the cost of production, the tape retail is $19.95, like $20, which is higher than other direct-to-home video titles of the era, which had a re-release back in 2001 for DVD, and then a re-release in 2008 as a double feature alongside the third direct-to-video Scooby-Doo film, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, which came out in 2000. With the film aided reportedly with a $50 million promotional push, which, oh boy, they had a lot of promotional budget right there. They had with tie-ins with Campbell's Soup Company, SpaghettiOs, 1-800-COLLECT, Wendy's, Lego, and Cartoon Network. And also with a deal with Mailing Race Sinks in 1998. Most specifically, the third of 4 paint schemes featuring NASCAR's Winston Cup Series 9 for terrorists, driven by then rookie Jerry Needwood. The paint scheme was debuted in Richmond International Speed Raceway in the Exide NASCAR Select Batteries 400 in September 2012 of '98, and was featured on the car to Dura Loop K-Mark 500 at the Phoenix International Raceway on October 25th of '98. For a total of 7 races out of the 33 race schedules, the promotional push was, at the time, the biggest marketing support for Warner Bros. Family entertainment history. As for receptions, skyrocket high. All were positive, including in Rotten Tomatoes. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island has the score of 88% fresh Rotten Tomatoes. In 2011-2012, British comedian Stuart Lee dedicated extensive section of his live show Carpet Remnant World to Jungle Canyon road bridges in Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, linking what he described as the perilous states of such bridges with the accessory regime of Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. As you recall, in 2019, a direct-to-sequel, Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island, had its world premiere at San Diego Comic-Con on July 21st of 2019, followed by a digital release on September 3rd, 2019, and a DVD release on October 1st, 2019. So yeah, and fun fact, if you've never seen when they're in the bayou, seeing the scenic view of the bayou, that's actually, they got the idea from the Bayou La Forche in Louisiana. If you Google that name, it's exactly the same. But yeah, let me know what you think of Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Did you like this when it came out? Was this one of your favorites? But to me, I consider it the animation budget right there. It should be in theaters. This is what This should be what a directive movie Sorry. That's all I was saying. This should be what the television film should look like. Gorgeous animation. Sorry. Not like now. But yeah, let me know what you think of Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Did you like it? What was your favorite scene? What was your favorite music? And yeah, if you're new to the channel, remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, like the video, and tomorrow we'll be reviewing the second film, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Until then, see you everybody. Peace.